Welcome to Modern Homestead, Alaska. I'm Jessica. Today's video is a week in the life. All of the wild, crazy things that I got done this week, from repairing a smoke damaged room. We did some seed starting and a plant review, as well as a bunch of work in the woodshed. Won't you join me? Slowly but surely, the ice and the snow have begun to melt away, and spring fever has set in on the homestead, and I am just diving in to the projects that will give way to the open lake and water and the beauty that surrounds us as we wait for the green, the hustle and bustle, and the beauty of spring. My son Caleb's room. Even though Caleb doesn't live here, we still just call the kids' rooms by the name of the kid the room was built and designed for. Anywho, we have made a huge mistake with the paint. When we were building the house and we had it drywalled, we had them paint it, and we had them paint the ceilings and the walls, and we had some leftover paint. I took it in. I have zero problem with the colors that we chose, but what has happened is maybe the camera will pick it up, maybe it won't, but because we heat with all wood, it's almost like a smoker's house, even though no one smokes. What kind of happens is there's still smoke that gets into the air, it gets on the walls. I began trying to kind of wash the walls. I have touched up the house a little bit over the couple of years that we have had it finished. And when it comes to the ceilings, I'll show you right on this edge here. The smoke just kind of settles at the corners of the wall between the white ceilings and the agreeable gray walls. So the mistake that we made was the walls are flat white paint, which is fine, but it's kind of like builder's grade quality. So it's a real, even though it's Sherwin-Williams, it's low on the quality scale. And if I touch the white paint on the ceilings, it leaves marks. It looks terrible. The sheen kind of changes, and it doesn't clean. Like, I'm gonna go up and wipe it all down before I paint it, but you can't clean the ceilings. And so I have finally had enough. I said back in December that we would start touch-up painting and kind of fixing the house. And Aaron and I have decided we're not just gonna touch-up paint, we're literally painting the ceilings and the walls and the trim. The trim I'm not having much issue with because I did do a gloss on it and it is holding up really well. It gets beat up over time with all the dogs, kids, family. And not only that, when they painted the house, there was no floors, there was no trim, there was no doors, kitchen, tile work, everything else was not finished. And so we have done all of the construction with the paint up. So it just sort of needs to do that. So here's what I've done. From top to bottom, we're gonna paint the ceilings. We have stepped completely up our level to duration. And this one is a satin finish. So this is gonna go on the ceilings. It is totally washable. So what I'm going to be able to do is to come along after everything is repainted. When it starts kind of collecting a little bit, I will be able to just use a mop and water and wash the ceilings as well as the walls. And then as far as the walls go, with the best that we possibly can, which is the emerald So we're doing emerald on the walls and the duration on the ceilings. And then the trim is still just a white gloss that we get from Home Depot. I do not feel like changing all of that, the doors, everything. So we're just working along this week. What I'm trying to do in the house is last week I did our bedroom, bathroom, and closet. So our room is done. I'm going to do Caleb's this week, Wyatt's room next week, and so on. So I'm not overwhelming myself and having every square inch of the house completely demolished and mutilated at this point. So I'm gonna call it quits for today. I have chores and other things that I need to get to, but the ceiling is done, the trim is done, the doors are done. I got one side of the main door finished, fixed some trim, did a whole bunch of other things, but tomorrow it'll just be walls, and then I will flip the door over and do the other side, but I don't want to put any weight on it until it's completely dry. So we'll just let it dry all night. Oh my gosh, I cannot tell you. One of my favorite things in the world is fresh, clean paint. And when I look around and the door is beautiful, the trim is beautiful, oh, I love it. I cannot wait to be finished and get each room scrubbed down and have the house looking how I always dreamed it would look and what we tried to build in the first place. But to return all of it back is so, oh, it's relieving. I just absolutely love it. So I'll catch back up with you tomorrow. All right, so we're back at it. I have one wall done. I have the upper side of this, and I only have one other wall to finish, and that one has all of the closet doors on it. I put a fresh coat of paint on the closet doors yesterday, so they look amazing. And I did try to save right here. Okay, so I painted this corner first in hopes that the camera would kind of, yeah, I can see it in the camera. This is the fresh paint and this is the old paint. It gets kind of like a yellow hue to it. It's the exact same color. The ceilings are the exact same color and the walls are the exact same color they were before. Just an upper grade level of paint. That's the only difference. I was super happy with the color when we built the house. And so we did have some trim over the closet doors. It's not working out great. It kept falling off. And I think it's because there's not like a header for it to nail into properly. But anyway, no big deal. Yeah, just finishing the paint in this bedroom. And I am just amazed at how fresh and clean the whole room feels as we just get nicks and scratches and flaws covered up. It feels like a new home again. I'm on my last little bitty chunk right here along the bottom, and I have cut in this room with the stiffest brush that I can handle, and that I think is personal preference. But the stiffer the brush, the better lines that it puts. And so I'm able to just come in and drag it along. So it is a Purdy brush. Home Depot doesn't sell these anymore. I did get it at the Sherwin-Williams store, but it has been fantastic. I watched some YouTube people on painting. I mean, I painted every single house we've ever lived in, which is why I didn't want to paint this one. I wanted to pay someone to paint it, but we just cannot afford to have a contractor repaint it. Just the cost of paint alone is what we can afford. So I guess for me, learning the super sharp, if you see on the ceiling, and I'll turn around, look at this. Remember yesterday, like the black ash and all of that marks between the ceiling and the wall, they really truly are totally gone. So biggest tips, start with trim, ceilings, tape it all off, super, super stiff, good brush. I think this is a 2.5 inch. That's just what I can handle. And I think not being professional painters, it's actually turning out really, really well. Well, I decided last night to clean the carpets after I got all the painting and stuff done. I had a couple of hours before Aaron was going to get home from work and we could have dinner and relax and do all of that. So I let it dry overnight. It looks so much better in here. And when you see the carpets, like I got several of the stains out. The main issue is when Roberto was a puppy, he chewed holes. Like he would get really mad. He like totally demolished the door jamb. So when you walk in, you step on the tack strips, and then there are still some stains in the carpet. They're lighter, they're not completely gone. And then the holes. And then our goal is, because these 3 bedrooms downstairs are all connected to the laminate wood floor, it's not a big deal to have those replaced. Plus, they're the main area. So Roberto likes to sleep under the bed as well. So even right here, just where he climbs under the bed, it has like a whole different color to it, and it should be cleaner because it's under the bed, and it's not. It's actually dirtier than the rest of the carpet. But like I said earlier in the video, this is literally like the in-stock rolls at Home Depot. It's the top of the line for the bottom of the line carpet, and it has served us really, really well. And so I don't want to invest in super expensive carpet, because with our 3 dogs and 5 oftentimes here at the house, they're super, super hard on the carpet. And so we just don't want to do that. But our thing is, Aaron loves in the wintertime when it's super cold out to wake up and his feet be on carpeting and not on like tile or wood or some sort of cold flooring. So ironically, we all compromise in our houses and our homes, and so we have carpet in the bedrooms and then laminate wood flooring throughout the rest of the house. These decorations have been in one of my boys' bedrooms since before Wyatt was a year old, and Wyatt is 19 now. So for 18 years, we have used these stars as like kind of the red, white, and blue. And then the photo of Caleb, his high school that he graduated from, the school's colors were red, white, and blue. And I wanted to use the poster, and then Caleb, of course, didn't care all that much what decorations were in his room. And so he ended up with the American flag room. And I just think it's so cute to still love decorations 18 years later. So these are like some sort of washer type thing. I got them in Kremlin, Colorado at like an antique store. They just had like buckets of them. And they used to go on buildings and they would bolt through them as like a decorative thing. And so I spray painted some of them blue, some are the original color, and then I have this one little red one. I love the nightlight. So this room is really small square footage, and because all of my boys are over 6 foot tall, we put queen size beds in everyone's room. Caleb is my child who has the least belongings. Like, he just doesn't find value in keeping things. So he literally didn't even have a dresser in here. He just had his bed. There's the little bench that goes in here that actually Aaron and I got from my grandmother before we even had Cody. So Caleb was a baby when we got that. And his bed, and it doesn't have space for a nightstand. And so Aaron actually helped me build that. And then at Wyatt's room, we have one that looks very similar, but his hang from the wall. I do still love the accent walls in here. And because I think the house is so new still, just like I said earlier, for me, what I'm really feeling this morning is like it's being returned to the design it was supposed to be in the beginning. And I'm not ready to move past the design and how I wanted it all to look. It just needs a refresh. Almost officially finished the door. I need Aaron or Wyatt to be at home to help me hang it back up. It's just easier to lay it flat and paint it because the dogs had scratched the outside of it. It's actually right here. Beautiful, all clean paint, looking amazing. And then as we get the hallways, so I didn't do anything out here because I need to like recalk the trim up here, things like that, fix some other stuff. So when I'm in this area of the house, I'll get all that done. So this is why I'm taking it slow. Every single item cleaned, everything scrubbed from the ceiling to the trim, completely painted and put back is very, very time consuming because this is a day 3. My bedroom took me 4 days. It's still early. in the day, and I have a whole bunch of other stuff that we're gonna get to right now, but there it is. Look how beautiful. The trim, the doors. Erin had originally put the handles in the wrong spot on the closet doors, so I kind of filled those. These were not expensive doors, but the handle needs to go here to pull it properly. So I have those. I need him to put closet doors back on. But yeah, the trim, I love bright white trim. The view from this bedroom is just, he has the cutest view. Well, the upstairs is, but he has the mountains and the lake, but I can also see all the way to our little dairy cow, the chicken coop, the garden. It actually has some really, really great views. This is the original bedding. So we spent no money other than the paint, and we will replace carpets soon enough. I thought, okay, got the upstairs all clean and done, and that is always the goal, is to get the house back to set. I just kind of have the paint stuff set in a little corner upstairs so that I can move on to the next space. And then my house isn't completely destroyed every single day. So we're down here in my seed starting area, and I have never had the seeds look this good. So I'm totally sold on the soil. I've only had to start doing the fertilizer once. I've started with this organic grow all purpose, and I'm doing half strength right now because they still should have plenty of food from the soil that we started them in. But oh my gosh, you guys, let's take a look. I've doubled up the grow things that Erin built me, and I can just scoop it out of the way and then get in here. And I'm gonna swap a bunch of plants around so that these are getting the natural sunlight. And as we do, I'll show you what we have. I did go ahead and mix up some fertilizer. While, look at these. Well, we have one kind here that has 0 germination, but look at these. These are all sage, and they're different. So this yellow to the yellow, the one that's doing really, really well was Denali Seed Company. I just got this year. It smells like sage. And then Bergamot, anyway, that's something else, but it is starting. So that's obviously a sage that must have spilled over, but it is starting to get a few little things growing, but I have no germination on this one. We'll still give it another week or so, but that is looking beautiful. I'm just gonna swap it to the back one, and then I need these because we're seed starting today. Bunching onions, he shy, co, whatever, I have no idea. You guys, I got these from Denali Seed Company last year, and I am not kidding you. If you look back at some of my garden videos, some of the green onions, scallions, we call them all sorts of stuff, they were this big, bigger than, they're like a nickel size around. And they kind of have like the little black, see the little black seeds on the top still. So I just kind of pull up and see if any of them are gonna fall off. Everything's looking amazing. Those are beautiful, and they do so well. And I just go out there and pull them, put the individuals in the garden. They're awesome. Our celery is germinated really, really well. Each little one becomes an entire stalk of celery. And so this one little tray is an entire year's worth of celery. Even if there's just a few, we will have to hopefully not upplant those. If we do, we'll just go into the red solo cup, giving the roots a little longer distance, but hopefully we'll be able to get those in the garden. And We had really good germination on the peppers. There's a few of them. So I turn it and look. Yep. Okay, so this was the additional one, and I did end up getting several of them, and these germinated way later. Something must be happening right here in the corner, whether it's the heat or the light, because these are the same as these, and they germinated a little bit different. So anywho, no big deal. We're gonna transfer those. But look, I had some where I didn't think we were going to get all 4 of them, and the new ones have just germinated in the last week or so. So yeah, they don't give up hope. Look, here's a little 4th one right there, little guy. So they're looking good. I'm probably gonna moisten the tops where these seeds are kind of stuck. We don't want to damage the plant, but sometimes the seed gets stuck on the leaves when they're trying to open up, and if it gets really, really dry, it makes it really hard for that plant to open the way that it should. Like that one I can't even get off. So I may moisten those a little, top heavy, and then see if I can't pull those off. These are the evergreen bunching onions. Same thing. Great germination, looking really, really beautiful. No issues to report. Those should be great. We're gonna swap them places. Look at my artichokes. My artichokes are doing just amazing, and they're super dried out. It's probably because they were close to the heat. So we are gonna swap them. See how they're leaning that way? I wanna swap them and make them lean towards the sun, and then I'm gonna feed them. Artichokes grow really, really beautifully up here. I didn't know until after I started growing them that you get multiples per plant, and these things can just get really, really huge, and I can't wait to see them. They're so medieval looking. I just love the look. So here's some of the stuff we're going to have to start popping over. Look at these. Okay, so they're not all the same plant, but don't they look so similar? So thyme, summer savory, oregano, and then this should be lemon balm. So the lemon balm looks like, oh, it's not doing very well, but I see very, very tiny ones starting to germinate as well. And all of these kind of start out looking very, very similar because they're in a similar family. So what we're gonna end up doing is moving. You just brush the seedling. It smells like amazing. The oregano is fantastic, but in about a week or so, I am going to be moving these into outside pots. Look at that. So these should be all basils. Yep, they are. Okay, so we have a large leaf basil, a lemon, another large leaf lemon. Okay, so that's the way that I went. Thai basil, Italian, all sorts of them, but look at this one on the end here. Genevieve something. Oh my gosh, you guys. How cute are these? The basil is doing just absolutely 10 times better than it did. Oh, this is my purple. I hope we get a few more of those. So basil's looking awesome. Zinnias. So I tried something new. I just planted the zinnias. One side's one color and one side's another color. No big deal. But I just put the soil in and then sprinkled the seeds over. Okay, so this side is purple and this side is envy. And they're doing really well. They don't really like to be transplanted, but we just don't have enough days, and I want to have some flowers early, but they're looking really, really good. Looking good zinnias. And also, the first tray of marigolds. I want to get these immediately, so I'm hoping that they'll be flowering. I'm hoping to plant them right with the tomatoes and the peppers so that maybe we can get away from some of the bug issues we had last year. Marigolds are great for that, but I also just think they're a really beautiful flower. Maybe because as a little girl, I just thought they were so cool that they, you know, the seeds you could sprinkle in the grass and you would get new and more marigolds. I don't think they smell terrible, but most people do. I am gonna leave the heat mat open until I decide what we're planting this week in case I need it. So what do we have here, friends? Okay. Oh, petunias. An entire tray. So these need to obviously be up planted. I'll probably do that in the next week or so. The other dahlias. But I wait until you see this one. So far I have 3 that have not germinated. But the one that was starting already when we planted it, it has roots coming out of the bottom already. We're gonna have flowers so early. So this one I've got to move really low. I believe this is parsley, right? Not looking so fantastic, but we do have good germination on this one side, not so much over here. So 4 of the 18 trays left to go through. Look at this. So this is the, yes, so this is the tomatillos and ground cherries. So these are the tomatillos and these right here are the ground cherries. Oh my gosh. We are happy and super, super healthy. And then these are the tomatoes. Excellent. I always get such good germination. I just haven't been able to give them enough heat in the greenhouses to get like a huge tomato harvest. Maybe this is our year, but the tomatoes look really, really beautiful as well. Both of those need to be completely planted up. And what do we have here? So these are flowers. Oh, remember the labella, whatever that is. 2 different kinds of flowers here. These are similar family as well. So we have caraway, we have fennel, we have lovage, hyssop, rosemary. I actually have a few rosemaries. I don't think I've ever been able to grow. Okay, so explain the marjoram to me. One is super over the top, and then 2 of them have nothing, and they must have been different. And then catnip. Catnip overwinters really well. The chickens and animals love it, and so I have it in a bunch of pots out there, and I just pick it off and throw it to the animals. But anyway, the lovage is looking really good. The caraway, the fennel, I'm hoping to get a few fennel bulbs this year. We've gotten it all kind of shifted around and watered, and now we can start filling this plant tray. So I went ahead and filled this one, except for at the bottom. Anything that's really tall will end up down there, like the 1 gallon of tomatoes and things like that. But for now, we can start filling this one. As a reminder, if you did not watch our first seed starting video, we are using the Pro Mix, the HP Mycorrhiza, however you say that, and no additional fertilizer until the plants, and then we're just using that liquid right now. We just fill this concrete tray and then put about 1 gallon of water. It's not going to be super moist. In fact, I like it to be just a little bit light and fluffy. So moisten that work that in. And what I look for is for it to be real loose, but if I pinched it, it would kind of hold together. But we try not to pack it in, and that seems to be working fantastic. I have such good germination right now with even some seeds that are a few years old. So looking good. This is working great. Fill up these little orange pots. So I just scoop it in and then a little push down, but just kind of knock it off. On this week's plant agenda is all of our cold weather crops that are going to be brassicas. So cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and kohlrabi. So kohlrabi, I want to grow a little less of. So we'll start with my favorites, which is broccoli. And we are doing two. The gypsy and the green sprouting Calabrese, C-A-L-A-B-R-E-S-E. Both of these are from Denali Seed Company. But because those are the two I'm gonna do, I'm gonna see, I do have some open packs from last year. No sense in opening the new ones. Got our tray here and ready. Then what I think I'm gonna do is 9 and 9, and then do this last one as kohlrabi instead of doing a whole tray of kohlrabi. So. And then immediately label. When you guys sent me this, we'll see if this marker works better in the long run. As a reminder, I document the date that I seed started in my book, where I go through the crops and what needs to be planted. I just have the week starting, which is 3/24. So we are not behind. In fact, we're caught up. Everything up here has already been planted and started, and we're right here on the cold weather crops. And then we have, following this, it's 2 weeks before we need to do the next garden. There's some herbs on there and there's some flowers, but as far as all that goes, so I just date when the seeds are started in case we come back and I can't keep it all straight in my head. And that way we know this is something not germinating that is an actual food crop, because those are our top priority. And if they're not germinating, I can restart, new pack of seeds, something like that. So I sprinkled a little soil over the top. My thing is I like to plant the seeds the same distance down as the seed is around, up to 2 times, sometimes 3. So the bigger the seed, the further down you can kind of plant it. But they don't really need to be dug down very deeply to seed start. But these ones are big enough that I do want to cover them over. And so if I can see some, I just give them a little sprinkle. The soil underneath is wet, but this is just straight out of the bag, so it's a little bit dry, but yeah. If I can see the seed, a little dry soil, and then I'll wet it down. So there are 3 kinds of cauliflower from Denali Seed Company, and I know that these produce at different times and they look slightly different once they do produce, and I know that from harvesting last year. So now I want to keep really good track of what we're growing this year, and I want to grow all 3 because cauliflower is absolutely one of my favorites. So we're going to start with the snow crown, but I'm going to have to open a new pack. These seeds are 2 years old, so what was left there, we'll do that. And then I'm gonna do 2 rows, 2 rows, 2 rows, and then 1 of each one of them. So these are brand new this year. These are for 2025. You can read your seed packets and they'll actually tell you how old that seed is. I did start an envelope of 2025's garden, and in here is every single empty seed packet that we used. And so just tuck the broccoli and cauliflower in there. I'm trying to do a really good job of keeping records. We're going with 3 cabbages this year. So Early Jersey Wakefield is the first one. We have another green cabbage, Golden Acre. Looking for out of it. And then 1 purple one or red one, which is Red Express. Brussels sprouts. So this is the Jade Cross. Then we have the Long Island Improved. And then I'll just do a row of kohlrabi. I'm gonna start 1 set of flowers. So the first 6 are going to be a pin cushion flower. What's the technical name? These are they do really, really well up here. They are just like the lightest seed ever. And then Morning Glories. $80 to 90 days to bloom. So these take a long time to get to the flower. Okay. And then this is the Black-Eyed Susan. I haven't gotten any of these to grow. This will be my 3rd attempt at Black-Eyed Susans. And then this is a different kind. So the seed structure is completely different between these 2. They both should be started early. Great for hanging baskets. So actually I have 2 packs of these. I'm gonna super overseed these because maybe I'm doing it wrong. If you know, let me know. But I've read the pack and it's not telling me to do anything different. They just haven't germinated and grown for me. All right, so 5 more trays. Seed started today. So we have the entire back rack is full. Now we're starting in on this one. I'm gonna do the overnight soak on the nasturtiums. I'm going to start them tomorrow in these trays. And my thought process is I'm almost out of soil, might as well use it. This will be a little simpler to transplant the nasturtiums into the big pots when I can bring the big pots. Right now they're frozen, there's a little ice around them. When we can move them in and defrost them and then start the nasturtiums here, transplant them. It's not a big transplant as far as all that goes, and it should work out really, really well. And then next week we'll do more seed starting as we kind of go along. Every day just come down, check the moisture, see if the plants need anything, check the heat, see what the temperature is, and everything. I moved the sweet peas over here away from any heat, so they're just getting sunlight. It's still below 25 at night several days in the future. As soon as it's not going to be next week, we'll actually start hardening the sweet peas off. But I snipped them, or I topped them just 2 days ago. So they're leggy, but they're strong because they're gonna vine. And then by topping them, I left one right here to show you. So you just come along, scissors, your nail. I go up at least 2 and then snip it there. And then it's going to start blooming along the stem, additional little nodules of plants. And so they're doing really, really well. they can get planted out as soon as the nights are over 25 degrees. They like cold, cool weather. And so we're gonna get sweet peas really, really early, but they are doing awesome. I just moved them over here in the coolest part of the basement, away from the heat. They are getting just sun from outside. As the sun kind of moves along, they get partial sun, but yeah, they're doing just fine, and they will start hardening off next week. I have gotten all my inside stuff done, so I'm out at the woodshed. We have the big pile that still needs to split, and then this needs to be stacked right here. So I'm gonna stack this and then just split a pile of wood. And the way I like to do it is just start with a new tank of gas, and when I run out of gas, I am done for the day. So it's a couple hours worth of work ahead of me. Aaron and I are going date night tonight, so I need to get in and shower and fix my hair and do all that fun stuff, but I have the whole afternoon to just do whatever I want to do. And I really want this wood pile cleaned up and out of here, so that's what we're going to start with. All right, it's all stacked. That took 20 minutes. So now we are going to split. Oh my gosh, I have this huge, this is just like the outside, the bark that falls off. And then I have this huge pile of wood. So we're gonna get started splitting. Well, believe it or not, I put a pretty good dent in it. I started raking all this up. So this will just burn. And then it looks like I just left logs randomly. They're frozen in the ice. And I can't get them unstuck. So they're randomly all over. But it is so warm that I removed like the top layer off of a bunch of it. And so now it'll just defrost over the next day or so, and then we can tackle it again. So I thought I have about an hour, so I'll do chores. And then I also thought I might wander around the yard and just kind of get things cleaned up, waiting for spring. And the next time we do wood, we'll just stack this here. And then that over there, they're actually different kinds of wood. So that is beetle kill spruce, and this is birch. So the birch is still wet, it is not dry. This whole side of the woodshed is birch, and then that will be spruce over there. The spruce we can burn right now. It is totally dry, and that is why we take the time. It's super easy to tell the difference, but that's why we're taking the time to keep it separate, is so that we can burn it. There is some cottonwood. The cottonwood is wet, and so it goes on the birch side. But yeah, from over here, like it just looks like I left random logs. All of those are frozen in the ice. I cannot get them loose. And then like even this looks like it's on top. I can't get it out. So there's a few that I could have done, but I think I'm at a good stopping point. I may do some raking over there. I'm just gonna set a 1 hour timer and see what I can clean up. Does anyone else do that? Just set yourself a timer. Sometimes I'll set timers for even like 15 minutes and just say, oh, what can I get done in the next 15 minutes, and then feel so much better. I do that a lot before like bed. If I have had a day where I just blew everything up, I'll spend 15 minutes and be like, okay, here's stuff that I don't have to deal with in the morning. I have 3 flower hanging baskets. I may run those down and let them start defrosting in the basement. So anywho, excuse me for a minute. I'm gonna set a timer. Oh my goodness, I am so grateful for warm, glorious days. I picked up a ton back behind here. I just kind of wandered around, did all the chores, dealt with all the animals, just picked up and cleaned up, and all the little garden spaces are almost defrosted. We still have some pretty gnarly ice in front of the house, but yeah, I'm super happy. So I got a ton done this week. I thank you guys for joining me. If you haven't yet, would you hit that subscribe button and ring the bell? You'll get notifications. Thumbs up, comments, and sharing videos all help our channel to grow. And with that, I hope that you are blessed. I hope you have a fantastic week in front of you. Let me know what you accomplished this week in the comment section. I'd love for you to sound off and hear from you. And with that, I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.